Hello and welcome to Busy Pro Fast Wellness, the podcast where we explore quick, effective habits that busy professionals can do to optimize their performance and feel good within themselves. I'm Alan Welsh, and today I have my first ever online guest, Katie Jeffries, who also lives in our lovely city of Valencia. So, Katie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. It's a real pleasure. Firstly, perhaps you can tell us a little bit about your life before you moved here to Valencia and why you chose Valencia to live.
Sure. So, I was living in lovely Essex in the UK, working as a mental health nurse, and
Oh,
got married to my now husband. And we decided that we didn't want to live in the UK anymore. And then the lovely thing called Brexit came along.
okay.
And rather than just talk, put things into action. So, with that looming, we decided just to get out of the UK and figure out life as we went.
Yeah,
So, we ended up in Valencia kind of by accident almost. We came just for a month initially.
yeah,
My sister lives here, so we came here initially just to spend a month with her. But in that month, we actually ended up really falling in love with this city that has just such a good quality of life. And so we
absolutely.
just figured out how to make life work here for us.
Fantastic. Yeah. And like so many other expats who end up winding down to Valencia, it's a common thread story that I hear so often about this place. So yeah, I can well
Yeah.
understand that. And what about your life now? I mean, you've obviously adapted really well to Valencia, etc. And do you have any particular hobbies that anything that you've taken up since you've been here?
Yeah, I mean, just here generally I have more time to do the nice hobbies. My hobbies are mostly fitness related. So the gym has always been a part of, well, in my more adulthood, has always
Yeah,
been a part of my life. Um, but then since I've been here, I've just had more time to be able to start playing tennis again. That was a
oh,
childhood hobby that I used to have.
I didn't
Uh,
know that.
yeah, yeah,
You should have
yeah.
told me I'm a great tennis fan.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I had no idea you played tennis. Yeah, I used to play a heck of a lot in the past. Yeah, in a
Ah, we'll
club,
have to have
etc.
a game then
Yeah,
soon.
you'll slaughter me now. I'm useless now.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm still using like a 10-euro decathlon racket, so
So
just getting back into it.
it's better than my 20-year-old Wilson. Okay, yeah, good.
Probably isn't. Probably isn't.
Okay.
And yeah, like dancing. So
Yeah,
since I've been he started like salsa dancing, just yeah, walking around the beach up and
yeah,
down, and just yeah, generally just sort of healthy fitness sort of lifestyle. But then something that I needed to do was find more hobbies that are more of a sitting down hobby, so a bit more rest rather than just
right.
be go, go, go all the time. So just within the last month, I've just started learning how to draw.
Oh, fantastic. I've heard so much about that recently from various friends, maybe mutual friends of ours, who have talked about that, and they've been
Oh
trying to
yeah.
persuade me to go along to a drawing classes. Perhaps you're just doing it on your own, but it's
Yep.
something which really feeds well into this whole mindfulness thing because you are
Hmm.
completely detached. You're in the moment as you concentrate. Maybe I should do a separate podcast about that as well. But I know that's
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah. So, do you find that that's a total distraction from your day-to-day life?
100%. Yeah, literally, I didn't realize how significant it would be, and now I've sort of realized this thing when you see like artists and they say like, "Oh, I got lost in the studio for hours and hours or days and days because I was just so focused on what I was creating." And
Right.
I mean, obviously, I'm a novice, self-learning, but yeah, I've just found I just get pulled into this mindful sort of practice of just being in that moment of doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
just focusing on one thing and then obviously seeing the change from absolute disaster to begin with
Yeah.
and then to not so much of a disaster by the sort of time you wrap up. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's that the whole idea of that really comes in to this podcast in the sense of just seeing those tiny, tiny, minute changes from day to day or from week to week. If you just practice something, even if it's just for a short period of time,
Hmm.
you will notice those significant improvements. So I'm really pleased, and you have sparked my imagination for something on this topic for the future. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Perfect. And one of the things that I've been doing, I mean, you are the first online guest I've ever had, it, and it's perhaps a feature of the future, is to ask if you have a particular golden tip, something that you can share with the listeners as to helping others improve in any way that they might find is useful to them. I don't know if you have anything in particular, a golden tip. Oh, yeah, I did ask you to prepare something earlier,
Yeah,
I'm sure you do, yeah. But
yeah.
if you could
So,
share it with us, that'd be great.
of course, yeah. So I was thinking about it, and I mean, it's very broad. I mean, there's so many different things, and I was sort of running through the this, that, the other, and I was just like, how would I focus on just one thing?
Yeah.
Because obviously, there's so many. But what I thought there was a common theme that I realized with all of them was that none of them are any good if you don't have discipline to apply them.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and this is something that comes up for me because people have always sort of said to me, "Oh, I don't know how you stay so motivated with the gym, and how do you do this, and how do you do that?" Um, and they always come about asking about my motivation. And I've always responded, it's not a case of motivation. My motivation isn't always there. A lot of the time, it's not. You wake up, you're feeling tired, or,
Mm,
there's 100 other things to be doing, or blah, blah, blah. But then that's when the discipline comes in, to still do it regardless of what else is coming up, or
yeah.
uh, whether it's external or internal factors that are trying to prevent you from doing this thing.
Of course. Yeah.
So yeah.
No, no. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Discipline is key. I've started getting up at the crack of dawn, and I'm striving for 5 o'clock, and you know, I'm not always achieving it. I'll be honest with you, because it's a new endeavor on my part to do that. However, it is becoming easier, and I know that the more I do it, maybe I'll get up at 6, maybe I'll get up at 6:15,
Mhm.
maybe, it depends. And if I need sleep, that's very important. But on the whole, I'm getting up exceptionally early because I find that that time's productive. And it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard, but the motivation is there because I
Yeah.
know that that's going to, again, it's going to serve me well in the future if I can just crack that nut of managing
Mhm.
to get up particularly early at that time. So, do you talk about this discipline, but what drives you? I mean, you've mentioned the not the foolhardy questions, but the naive questions, let's say, from other people on this topic. But is there anything particular, the results? Do you see that you are improving in your results? Could that be helping with the motivation, do you think, in in
Um,
in using that discipline? I mean, and could you give an example of something that you use that discipline for? Maybe that's a simpler question.
yeah, I mean, well, so for example, with what you were just saying about the getting up and you've got the motivation there at the moment. So the motivation is probably the night before when you're setting your alarm. It's, yes, I feel motivated tomorrow. I want to get up at 5 a.m.
Mm,
And then, of course, the alarm goes off in the morning and it's cold, it's dark, you're
yeah,
tired, and you don't have the motivation in those few minutes. So when your alarm clock goes off, that's when it's coming down to the discipline of telling yourself, I set my alarm clock last night whilst I had the motivation because this is something that my future self is going to be grateful for.
yeah,
So in this moment now, I can either turn off the alarm or snooze the alarm and roll back over and go to sleep. Or, you know what? It's hard. Yes, I don't want to do it right now. No, but I'm going to because this is something that I've set for myself.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
it's easy to do something when it's easy to do,
yeah,
but it's then this is when the discipline comes in to to help us to continue to do the things when it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Um, and I think this is a big thing about is knowing your own weaknesses.
Yeah.
So for yourself, for example, in that scenario, if you know, for example, like when you wake up, when your alarm goes off at 5 a.m., it's dark and it's cold and you don't want to get out of your cozy duvet,
No.
have things there to support you to be able to do it as easy as possible. So, for example, a big cozy dressing gown right next to your bed. So, as you're getting out of bed, you just can wrap yourself in this dressing
Yeah.
gown, or or straight away turn the torch onto your phone so you've got some light in the room. Something like this. It's
Yeah.
recognizing the things that are going to set you back
Yeah.
and then finding counter actions
Yes.
to diminish those as much as possible.
What you've just
Does
described
that make
there,
sense?
no, what you've described makes absolutely perfect sense because whether or you've done this before, or whether you've read, have you read the James Clear Atomic Habits? Because he talks about
Mm-mm.
this. Oh, you haven't? That's
No.
such a coincidence because this really feeds in well to what he talks about is you put strategies in place, even though the task is difficult, in order to make it easier. And he also talks
Exactly.
about other factors as well, which are not quite related with the enjoyment factor, if you can marry that up to the task as well. But it seems that you've hit on exactly what he harkens about a lot in that seminal book, Atomic
Well, that's
Habits.
because he interviewed me and I gave him the ideas.
For a second, I thought, what? Just for a split second, wow, interviewed by such a guru. Good heavens.
No, no, I've heard of the book, of course. Many people
Yeah,
have spoke about it, but
yeah.
no, it's not been something that I've read yet.
No, but these are great. These are great tips as well for me because, yeah, uh, I mean, I find it difficult, but there have been lots of things in the past, challenges that I've done, and I just, because of the end result, whether it's training for a marathon, I know that I want to achieve that time. And if I don't achieve the time, that's fine, but the process is there. And that in itself, just having that objective is enough to carry on. But what I find that some people do is that if they've fulfilled the objective, run the marathon, then it tapers down. So it's good to have this
Sure.
stuff ingrained into you all the time. Where,
Yeah.
if it's just a general fitness thing, I know that, because we're friends, I know that you obviously do go out and exercise and go to the gym and you're quite a keen swimmer. You could swim in the sea like me on occasions,
Yeah.
a bit of cold therapy. So we have that in common as well. Um, so brilliant. That discipline, how to
Mm.
apply it, and you apply it obviously to your own fitness objectives, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much
Yeah.
it, yeah.
And then
Okay,
I
good.
think when you said about, do you think like the motivation can help you along? It can and it can't because it's fleeting. It comes and it goes. It's not always there. It's not always not there. But then when or for me anyway, when something has become disciplined and then it just becomes as ingrained into your life as getting up and brushing your teeth. You do it just because you have to do it every morning.
Yeah. Yes.
Or you're getting up and you're going to work. You don't always necessarily want to get up and go to work, but you do it because you have to. And
Exactly.
of course, it helps if you enjoy it. But I think once the discipline has created the routine,
Yes.
it's the routine that helps you to stay in it rather than the motivation.
But then you've just espoused another idea of James Clear as well.
Oh, really?
Maybe his ideas are so obvious, but then because you've encapsulated it really really succinctly in what you just said by talking about habit formation, which he talks about a lot. Because if you do it over and over again, it becomes part of your daily routines.
Mm,
So therefore, that just becomes
mhm.
ingrained naturally, and it becomes easier and easier and easier until it becomes natural. And I guess for me, as a musician playing the trumpet, doing my own routines over again and over again, you don't have to think, obviously, as you go through that process
Yeah,
of learning.
yeah.
And it's the same idea of anybody who plays a musical instrument. But it's good to know that somebody who hasn't read that book naturally employs those techniques into their own day-to-day lives, and these techniques they do work. So I'm really
Yeah,
pleased that you've shared that. So thanks very much on
you're
that
very
one.
welcome.
That's been really, really good. You have a guest house here, don't you, as well? Could you tell us a
Yes.
little bit about that?
Of course, shameless little plug here.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
yeah, we've got a guest house and an apartment. So, 10 bed, um, yeah, 10 bed guest house and a 6 bed apartment. So we can sleep up to 16 people. If you want to check us out, our website is portraitguesthouse.com. And there you can see the different options of the apartment or the guest house, both central Valencia, right in between the city centre and the beach. So,
It is
in my
amazing
opinion,
location.
prime location
It's a
for
great
getting around
location.
Valencia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. You are right in between. You could easily get to the centre and to the beach. It's this fantastic
yeah,
location. I had no idea it was. I knew you had the 10 bedroom. I didn't know that they're apartments. That's news to me. What I'll do though, Katie, is I'll drop something in the show notes there as well. So anybody wants to check out Portrait Guest House,
exactly. Yeah.
um, then they can do, and they can just go straight to the link in the show notes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Katie. It's been an absolute pleasure. And
You're welcome. And we'll
well,
see you for a game of tennis in the new year.
oh no, I've set myself up now, haven't I? Oh God, we should never said anything. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Katie. All right.
You're
All the best.
welcome.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.